Ito bro, this is when you shouldn't underestimate BBM. There is a high suspicion infiltrated yung ranks ni Digong. So there were people who spread this complacent message na pare, safe na safe ka, there's nothing here. So actually bro, for all we know, General Torre is just the face of this. Behind the scenes, there's like KGB, like next level James Bond stuff that happened that made Duterte so confident to fly straight to Naiya because he had an option to fly straight to Davao with a private jet or I don't know, go to Cebu and then Davao. And
Right.
pag nag-Davao siya, tapos na, hindi mo na makuha yan. Tapos na, end of the world na, siege na yan. So, my sense, bro, is nagkaroon ng counterintelligence and infiltration there and he got false information kaya na-trap siya. That was an entrapment that happened to him. And with Panelo types and all, yung mga ganyan clown show, he really didn't have a good team. Aren't you surprised with all the supposed money they have to hire all of those top lawyers and everything? But ang napaka tier 3, tier 4, yung mga tao na like Panelo, Medial,
Well,
Harry.
alam mo naman kasi pag nakita mo naman talaga yung mga close-in personnel ng mga Duterte, honestly, they're not the brightest people, unfortunately. I don't mean that in a bad sense. I just mean that they're not. You could get more sharper, people to be part of your team or advisors. Not only that, may mga rumors nga na lumalabas, 'di ba, na sino daw yung parang insider na either naging traitor daw kay Duterte o kaya nagbigay nga ng maling information, and one of the names that's coming out right now is si Bong Go. How true is that? I don't know, pero
I
it's
don't want to say anything about
interesting.
Bongo. He's number one in the surveys now, Dow. So, it's interesting.
Well, again, that's a statistical tie with the Tulfo. So we will find out on election day. So,
Maybe we want to talk about Bongo because, before I go to Harry Roque and Bato, nasaan si Bato, di ba? Before I go to Harry Roque and Bato, actually, the other interesting thing for me, brother, here is hindi klaro yung line of succession, di ba? So Sarah flew right away to Hague to show like ako yung anak niya, ako yung
yep.
vice-presidente. But notice, puro mga pictures, makikita mo, it's like Bongo talking to Digong, si Bongo yung shell shock sa NAIA, trying to get into Villamor.
Mm.
Bongo now is number one in the surveys. He hasn't So actually, parang this is the reenactment. I don't know if you remember, back in 2021, up until July and August, the reason hindi tumakbo si Sara Duterte was because parang plano ni Digong is
Ah,
si Bongo na lang. But back then, Bongo was very weak to have his own leg, di ba?
yes.
Puting. So what happened is eventually, nagkakagulo na and then Sara decided to just team up with BBM. So actually, may hidwaan talaga yung dalawa na yan. And for me, it's interesting to watch what will happen if they're gonna close ranks and whether those tensions within the house of Duterte will be exposed in the coming days. So I don't want to pattle that rumors and all, but what I can say is that it's an open secret that Sara Duterte and Bongo are not on the best terms. And now the question is, who is really the number two? While Duterte will
Mm,
likely, almost certainly spend the rest of his life thousands of miles away from the Philippines.
yeah. And I think when you look at it that way, I really believe you're right na parang may nga they're trying to field and find out kung sino sa dalawang to ang mas matunog, and this Senate race is going to be something that they're going to be looking at in terms of numbers para malaman nila kung if Sarah decides to run or Bongo is the one they're going to convince to run at this point. And he could be like a dark horse. 'Di ba? Kasi kung tutusin si Bongo, hindi mo pa naman narinig nagmura, hindi mo pa nakita yung ugali tulad ng mga Duterte, at saka yung pinagmamalaki nga sa kanya, yung malasakit center. So, he has a cleaner image. Tapos especially with that Domino's Pizza pa na pinapakain daw niya si Duterte, 'di ba? So, kung tinignan mo, pwedeng mangyari talaga yun eh. Because honestly, I think Sarah, sunog na rin siya eh, kung tutuusin eh. Medyo bumaba talaga yung stock niya because of all her antics. And kahit naman sumusuporta ka kay Duterte, mahirap talaga tanggapin yung makita mo na nagme-meltdown ng isang tao ng ganyan sa gitna ng gabi. Tapos nagbabanta sa buhay ng presidente. Ang hirap depensahan niya. Napansin mo, yung troll army. hindi man lang sumagot na doon, parang pinabayaan na lang nila at sana mamatay na lang yung issue. Yun ang ginawa nila kasi hindi mo madepensahan talaga yun eh. Kaya tingin ko talaga ngayon, they're looking at alternatives and definitely, Bongo is an alternative and that's something that we do have to watch out for at this point.
No, that's a very important point. Notice, so I saw the footage of Gretchen Ho, hinahabol niya sila Harry Roque, and notice ko, Harry Roque was with Sara Duterte and Robin Hood Padilla. Because remember, the plan is Sara and Robin Hood Padilla will run in 2020 together, or Robin Hood Padilla will run for the presidency if hindi
Yep.
si Sara Duterte, since he topped the Senate race. So if Bongo tops this Senate race, he will make the case, you all rally behind me. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yep.
people don't understand this thing. Kasi ako, I had to write a book on these things and all that. Point by point, nakita ko may tension talaga dito eh. And it matters. Robin Hood wants to be at least VP of Sara, if not the next in line. Nag-top na siya ng Senate race. Meron siyang bragging rights. Although I don't know how much of that is left after his performance, dismal performance over the past 2 years. And then there is also, of course, Bongo doing very well. So very interesting to see how Bongo is going to navigate this and maintain. Kasi one reason Bongo is doing very well is because hindi siya sa ano eh, he's out of the ring, right? He's not taking on in any controversial issues. Sobrang ingat siya, di ba? All the heat is on Sara, Bato, Aimee, I don't know, right?
Ah, it's funny na binanggit mo si Amy Marcos nga eh na, teka lang, ano ba? Saan ba siya kaalyado? Nakapagtataka talaga itong babaeng to, no? Na dinamay mo siya at sinama mo siya
Karen,
sa
Karen.
oo, parang Duterte side o kaya BBM side siya. Hindi mo talaga alam. Kaya pinagtawanan na nga
Karen
ni
siya.
Panelo eh.
Oh, bro, Karen siya. You know Karen?
Yes.
Yeah, Karen's like I'm better than my brother. I should have been okay. Anyway, I don't want to get into family feud. Medyo let's talk about Harry Roque. Biglang lumitaw si Harry Roque out of his hiding. I don't know, Dubai, Macau, whatever. Ang alam mo nakakatuwa. I was talking to Attorney Dino, my good friend from Debate Society days. Sabi niya, naku po, paano kung biglang may warrant of arrest kay Harry Roque from the Philippines for extradition while he's trying to defend I mean, imagine the situation, like, nagmamaganda si Harry Roque, oh, for president, blah, 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 and then biglang, we have to stop the procedure, the police is waiting at the door.
At andyan na siya sa ICC, kaya
Would
mabilis
be,
na.
would be classic na inarestuhan yung defense lawyer ni Digong. I mean, I hope I hope Duterte finds a better person kasi si Harry maraming sabit yan eh. The case
Oo,
is
totoo.
mabigat ha. I had General Torre on this show openly saying, yeah, we will go after Harry, hindi lang Quadcom yung show cause order lang ang issue dito. So, you saw Torre. Si Torre, 2-0 na. Kibuloy down,
Yep,
Duterte down. If you're just Harry Roque, you're easy fish for Torre. All right?
absolutely.
So,
So,
Harry has to be careful.
yeah, because he, not just, so the Harry Roque has problems kasi nga, a lot of cases here, easily with what the Philippines did for Interpol is now reciprocated by Interpol and especially sa Hague. Mabilis yan eh. Talagang he's in, he has to be very careful kasi sa totoo lang, tingin ko talaga mababalik ka dito from The Hague papuntang Pilipinas at the rate he's going.
Ano, exchange program. Like, we give Duterte to Hague, Hague gives us Harry Roque. That would be a nice bargain, no?
Yeah,
But
I don't mind. And you know what? Harry does have to come back and face the music. Marami siya talagang hinaharap na kaso ngayon, especially with all the, anomalies when he was here.
trafficking cases, medyo serious yata yung ibang charges eh. From allegedly, di ba? Pero, I mean,
Yep.
the music, magaling naman siya magsayaw, di ba? Den. Ay, sa'yo ni Harry Roque, Harry eh. Now, let's talk about the other man of the hour. Bato de la Rosa, nasaan na siya? Puro mga boses niya, parang nakatago na siya. Nakita mo yung nag-trending ba yan? Sino yan sa ANC? Si Carmina?
Yes.
Sabi niya, nasaan ka ba? Nasaan po kayo ngayon? Bakit? Hindi na sa Philippines, ba't mo tinatanong? Hindi, andito pa kayo. Bakit? Ba't ba? Magba-interview ba ako? Wala ko sa...
Man,
Oh,
Bato de la Rosa is
oh my God,
losing
that
it.
guy! Pero naalala mo yung sinabi na kay Trillanes, I had said to Trillanes on here, di ba? Remember yung hinamon niya si Trillanes? Make
Yep.
my day! Make my day! Arrest me, Trillanes! Sabi niya gano'n, di ba? Nga dyan, di ba? O, ngayon, wala na. Nakita mo
Y-
yung mga memes, bro, yung sa ano, yung nagtatago na sa grass. Yung unti-unting.
Yep. That was funny. Pare, alam mo, the problem kasi ito na nga eh. Nakikita na nga natin sa mga, yung mga tulad ni Bato, ni na Duterte na talagang duwag talaga yung mga yan eh. Kaya nga, mas nabibilib talaga ako sa mga kagaya ni na Manay Laila de Lima because sila humarap, hindi sila natakot. Malala yung dinaanan nila. Ito nga, swerte nga sa totoo lang ni na Duterte at ni Bato. Nakita mo ba yung kulungan sa Hague? Hindi nga kulungan yun, mukhang senior citizens home eh.
Actually, maganda. First world.
No, 'di ba? Like that they have all the luxuries. You have 3 meals a day. They have a recreational center. Meron silang bintana, may CR, may TV, may internet, may library. It's literally a senior citizen's home. It's better than yung mga tirahan ng ating karamihan ng mga ating kababayan nga eh. At yung mga nasa kulungan dito, mas malala pa yun eh. Kaya nga, nagtataka ako kay Bato de la Rosa kung ano yung mga pinagdadrama niya. Alam nyo, kadamay siya dito, humarap na kasi siya.
Well,
Pumano, kaysa pahirapan pa niya sarili niya, no?
well, I mean, brother, I've been in The Hague. It's very boring. I wouldn't mind seeing a Bato School of Arts and Drama in the Hagues to make the place a little bit more interesting. Oh my God! Imagine if Bato is there, tapos magda-drama siya, tapos poker face speaking in French, yung mga tao, excusez monsieur, les justices, ang constitution, tapos si Bato, make my day! Like, ganun siya. I mean, bro, hindi ba surreal to? Oh my God. I mean, this is crazy. I'm watching Digong there.
Yep.
Talaga, shell shock sila, no? I don't think nagsisink in sa kanila what's happening, no? He
Yep.
bought his own propaganda. He thought he's really invincible, no?
Yes. At right now lumalabas ka sa mga propaganda ng Duterte supporters na parang ano nangyari kay Digong, kay Tatay, na dinrug ba siya? Bakit parang bangag siya? Well, alam mo, pag tinignan mo talaga, siguro para sa akin lang ano yan jet lag yan. Kasi nga, 'di
Actually,
ba? At saka
totoo yan. Jet lag yan.
tingin ko talaga jet lag yan eh. At saka, talagang, Duterte is 79 years old. Okay? He's an old man, kaya hirap talaga yan. Inaantok talaga yan. At isipin mo, wala kang ginagawa buong araw, nakatunganga ka lang, nakakabato. Yung ganang sitwasyon. Kaya, kaya sa akin, I mean, he's gonna have to learn to live with that situation for now. Lucky, he's still lucky if you think about it. At sa mga sumusuporta kay Duterte, paalala lang sa inyong lahat, ito po ay nabigay sa kanya ay due process compared sa ating mga kababayan na hindi nakakuha nun. Yun lang yun talaga. Kaya sana talaga shut up na lang yung mga yun. Pero of course, syempre, pupush nila yung agenda na yan hanggang maniwala yung mga tao sa kasinungalingan nila, di ba?
Let's talk about that, bro. Kasi obviously shell shock sila. Obviously lumabas yung pagka-amateur hour nila, 'di ba? It caught up with them, 'di ba? Masyado silang believe sa sarili nila, pero puro mga JV team sila, from Panelo to I mean the whole circus, 'di ba? But now their plan B, and I think here they're not doing too bad, is create all of this image on. I mean, Australia issued like some travel advisor to the Philippines. What the heck? Who the heck is their security advisor? Naniwala sila sa DDS, people power, I mean, what the heck? Who is in the Australian embassy but issuing this travel? Alam mo, I was with other ambassadors of other countries. I won't say anything. They were all like face palm sila. Like, what the heck is Australia up to? Sino bang mga consultant nila? There's some really, really people who are buying into these people. But anyway, online, it's wild, brother. Hindi lang yung ginawa sa akin, ha? Talagang, actually, may magsabi, buti nga, Richard, ikaw ang bugbog sarado dahil it took away the resources from Torre and other people. So they were able, yeah, bro. Siyempre, limitado pa rin yung, grabe yung bugbog sa akin, eh. 3 days na inoperate talaga nila ako. So, that spread their effort kasi Torre talaga yung target nila, eh. Si
Yeah.
Torre, the President BBM, among other things. And wait, by the way, let me talk about President BBM. Last part kasi yung victims, yung pinaka-importante. Um, what do you think about BBM? Did we underestimate him? Was he smarter than we thought, or at least he got the smart guys to do it after all? And then what do you think of his press conference the day after, which I don't think impressed too many people?
Yeah. Honestly, for me, maganda na nga yung ginagawa niya that he says as little as possible and just addresses everything directly and para, less mistakes when you just answer as succinctly, yung maikling mga sagot lang as possible. Number one. Number two, maganda din na si Yusek Castro, si Attorney Claire Castro, yung mga bumabanat ng yung mga ganyang pagbabanat. At saka tama talaga na mas maraming ginagawang press con ang Malacanang. That is very smart and very strategic. Unfortunately nga, they have to go beyond just the press con. They have to make sure that this is seeded in social media and amplified. If they have a troll army, amplify mo yan sa troll army mo. Hindi ko alam kung may troll army sila eh. Pero dapat i-amplify yung mga ganyang mga perspectives and mga views to combat what's out there. As a matter of fact, dadagdag ko lang, Richard, that in the comment section right now, may nagsasabi nga na meron daw napanood yung isa sa kanila na TikTok na parang pinalalabas, nakakampi daw ako ng Duterte. Nakakampi ako daw kakampi ng mga Duterte.
Well,
Tinatanong ngayon kung saan ako pumapanig. I think it's
what?
very clear saan ako pumapanig eh. So I don't know kung ano ba yung mga fake news na yan, and I haven't seen it because I don't normally scroll through a lot of TikTok, pero para klaro lang talaga, I've never been for Duterte because of who he is and what he did. Ngayon, you could change the name. Para sa akin, anyone that did what he did, I'm against. Like you said, Richard, pareho tayo dito, nagkakasundo tayo. Anyone that commits heinous crimes, murder, okay, mass murder, at yung pag-aabuso, at yung corruption, lahat-lahat yon is not in my, I will never side with anyone like that. Yun lang yon. So, sorry, anyway, I had to, to go back to that because,
No,
di
please
ba
go
nga
ahead,
yun,
bro. Please go ahead. No, that's important. Mention. Go ahead,
yeah,
please.
kasi right now, bro, ang problema talaga, no, ang daming fake news na lumalabas, and they're really trying to overwhelm people with all these different narratives. Attacking you. Apparently nga, may nag-create nga ng fake TikTok na sinasabi na kampi daw ko ng mga Duterte, o kaya lumalabas na fake daw yung drug war. Ay, sorry, fake daw yung mga 30,000 na namatay. Ang daming nilalabas eh. So it's good talaga that BBM is doing this, and he has to do more of this. And if it means that it's his people talking, that's also good. Mas maganda kasi kung mas marami sila nagsasalita because you're spreading the information amongst more people. This builds on your case and credibility. I love the fact that John Vic Remulla is very eloquent, articulate, and is able to explain properly what happened. And he doesn't mince his words when he said nga na bakit kayo humingi kayo ng hustisya para sa isang tao pero hindi kayo humingi ng hustisya para do sa 30,000 na biktima. Oh, yun, yung galing ng pagkasabi niya nun eh. Bakit umiiyak kayo ngayon para sa isa na meron naman due process?
Can I say
Pero,
something about that, bro? Can I say
yeah,
something about that? The government has a credibility problem because the way it comes off is this was a political calculation. Year after year, sabi ni Marcos, he doesn't accept the jurisdiction of this. Year after year, sinabi ng DOJ, they're not gonna cooperate. And then ngayon biglang ganun. They got a credibility problem, my friend. That
na,
is why mahalaga na magsalita yung mga tao na totoong genuine opposition at talagang involved dito. I'm very glad Senator De Lima, Senator Trillanes, who have been through and through, in terms of pushing for justice, standing up to Duterte, speaking out. But more have to come out. If your name is Aquino, come out and say something about this. Because isn't the Aquino name also about democracy and human rights, no? If you're opposition, you're running on, sige, I'm gonna make more enemies. Diba? Persona non grata na rin siguro ako sa ibang Christmas party soon. Oh, no, but I'm gonna say it. Come out. Speak out.
yep,
No, this is it. This is the time. This is history. Speaking of history, you have people like Raul Pangalangan who just retired recently from ICC. Of course, legacy years na ito, his retirement. I'm sure he doesn't want to get into stress. But he came out kanina. And let me just show a clip of his explanation bakit hindi rendition at kidnapping ang nangyari. And this is actually, whatever is happening, has a precedence from Adolf Eichmann's case to Alvarez Machain's case and Dominic Onowen's case, which he oversaw himself. Ito mga to talaga dinukot sila, dinala. Like really, that like beasts on the run. Right? That's how it happens if you're an international criminal. So just please listen to this for the purpose of education because no one has higher level of expertise on ICC than a former judge of ICC who only has a PhD in Harvard Law naman. Oo.
He will be asked how he pleads to these charges. Okay. That's the second difference. Now let me proceed to the rather
Important, yeah.
one of the most contentious issues the past 2 days, the the legality of the arrest.
Legality of the arrest, yeah.
Let us start from a fundamental principle. The ICC does not allow trials in absentia. So the presence of the accused is indispensable to the procedure in the ICC. And the warrant of arrest is the mechanism by which that presence is ensured. So we must interpret these rules in the context of that imperative, an imperative which is actually not just for the benefit of the accused, that he should be present when he is tried by a court, but also indispensable to the integrity of the proceedings before the court. Look at the history of international.
Yan, ito yung precedence, brother. Very important.
The biggest cases in this field have not inquired into the legality of the manner by which the accused is brought before the tribunal, the manner by which the court acquires jurisdiction over the person of the accused. We begin with Adolf Eichmann, the Nazi who was basically kidnapped from Latin America, brought
Eichmann's
to
case.
Israel to be tried for the crimes committed in World War II. The court basically said, look, we have jurisdiction over the crime charge, that is material jurisdiction. We have jurisdiction over the person of the accused as personal jurisdiction. He was there physically, and we proceed with the case. That's Adolf Eichmann. That was actually more recently affirmed in an American case by the U.S. Supreme Court, U.S. versus Alvarez Machain. He was a Mexican doctor who was implicated in the torture of American DEA agents. And, well, he was basically kidnapped from Mexico and brought to the U.S. for trial, went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And the U.S. Supreme Court says, well, we won't inquire into the manner by which he was brought into the jurisdiction of the court. We will proceed to give him a fair trial with all the guarantees. But the court did not inquire as to what happened before the
arrest,
before the person appeared before it. But let me deal with you with a case I personally sat, in which I personally sat as judge.
in Uganda,
the case of Dominic Ongo, a rebel commander in
Uganda.
Uganda. Tried by the court, convicted. I sat as a member of that trial chamber, and so I sat in the trial chamber. But if you look at the record of the pre-trial chamber, which is the stage, as explained earlier by Mike, but at the pre-trial chamber, there was a question about how the court acquired jurisdiction over Ongoen. You see, he was actually captured by the wording was by troops of the Central African Republic in cooperation with the U.S. Armed Forces. Well, stated plainly, he was captured and brought in a U.S. helicopter. What did the court say? Notice, in that case, although when was brought to the court, he wasn't presented before any judicial proceeding, whether it was in the Central African Republic or the Democratic Republic of the Congo, nothing of that sort. He was simply hauled off into the helicopter, brought to the ICC. What did the pre-trial chamber say? I will read.
Ito, important yun,
the rules on the proceedings to be met by the custodial state, meaning the state that arrested him. These rules do not in themselves create a duty of the surrendering state to undertake any particular process upon the arrest of the person. And the and toward the end, the court said, in validating the arrest, said to do otherwise is a disincentive to constructive cooperation between the court and the state, to the detriment of the interests of the ICC itself. So notice the the stance of the court confronts a very practical need. You see, the wheels of justice won't move forward unless the person is within the jurisdiction of the court. The arrest is indispensable to that. And that is why the court in this case did not look into the circumstances by which the person was arrested. If I may put another spin to it, notice that the wording of the rules, which are cited by I've followed some of the debates on the duties of the custodial state to present the arrested person before some authority, etc., etc. These are not rights of the accused. The rights of the accused are listed specifically in the Rome Statute. That is the right to the presumption of innocence, to be found guilty only with proof beyond reasonable doubt, the right to due process, the right to counsel of one's own choosing, the right to confront witnesses, the right to be informed of the charges in a language that he knows and understands well. These are all the rights of the accused. There is no such thing as a right of the accused to be presented before a domestic tribunal. If at all,
important yun, Rex.
it is actually a duty of the custodial state. But notice in this, when you read the statute, it is the duty of a member state. So for me, we then face the irony that those people invoking this provision are telling us that the Philippines is no longer a member of the Rome Statute.
Yun ang hindi
and then they
pwede.
want
Yeah.
to invoke
Hindi
duties
pwede lalabas
of
ka, tapos
this
biglang ngayon
non-member
i-invoke
of
mo
the Rome
yan.
Statute
Yeah, you cannot have
under
it both
the,
ways.
well, ironically, under the Rome Statute, Rome Statute itself. Let me proceed to the next of the contentious issues here: complementarity. You see, there is a fundamental transformation in the case at this stage. Notice, up until the stage of the preliminary examination and the stage of investigation, go to the website of the ICC. What is listed there? It is called The Situation in the Republic of the Philippines. That is, in fact, the title of our entire forum. At this stage, we already have an accused. So very soon as we have the initial hearing tomorrow, and the confirmation of charges hearings is scheduled, you will have a new item in that website. It will be called Prosecutor versus Rodrigo Roa Duterte. In other words, the proceeding has morphed into the investigation of a situation in a country, which made the Philippines a situation country in the jargon of the court, into a proceeding against an individual who is now charged of a specific crime.
Last part na yun, bro, sa
who is being,
complementarity.
tried before
Jurisdiction
the court.
kasi yan, very important.
What is the effect of this transformation on the doctrine of complementarity? The principle stands. The principle is intact. The Philippines should have the first shot at prosecuting the offense. That is the fundamental rule.
Yeah, except
in the ICC.
hindi
the
ginawa
principle of
ng justice
complementarity.
system nating trabaho niya eh.
Notice,
Notice,
when
exactly.
we're still just a situation country, the debate on complementarity, the basic argument is of those who object to the ICC is like, hey, ICC, don't get into this, don't investigate the Philippines. There are problems here. We are investigating them. We are acting upon them. We are trying these cases. Stay out of it. We have exercised our national prerogative to try these cases. That's the argument. And therefore, to support that argument, they should prove that they are investigating the cases.
Except,
You can go by the record of 6,000, which is the number used in the ICC documents. You can go by the higher documents, by the higher numbers raised in other documents. Okay, but they should show then that there are many cases that have been investigated, trials that have been conducted, and hopefully convictions that have been that have resulted from these cases. That is for the situation country stage. But now we have an actual accused.
last part na to, bro.
At times it becomes very simple.
Exactly.
He can say that, hey, court, ICC, you can't try me. I'm already being tried by another, by a court in my country.
Except not.
So you can't try me all over again. You have to defer to the trial in my country. Well, I think the fact is, as we all know, there is no such case.
Okay. So anyway, I encourage people to go through it. But bro, I think we laid it out pretty well, diba? Yung precedents, including cases that he handed at the ICC not long ago. Actually, if you look at a lot of these warlords or international criminals, none of them, like, they just went, hand in cuff, please take me in, right? A lot of them were hunted down, right? Literally, some of them kung saan-saan. And I want to be careful about saying something, baka na naman sasabihin nila sapsaran. But do you get what I'm saying? From Uganda case to Eichmann, who was taken out of, was it Argentina or Chile, and taken to Israel to face crimes for his involvement in the Holocaust. And then, of course, you have even in the case of narcos-related doctors taken to the U.S. So it's absolutely clear. When it comes to the ICC, you're a war criminal, you're going to be hunted down, and you're going to be brought in. And in the case of the Philippines, lumabas na tayo sa ICC. So it's quite hypocritical for the Duterte people to suddenly cite ICC as a way to try to find a way out. And then at the same time, not also coming up with any evidence that our courts are doing anything about this. They're not going after Duterte. They're not going after Bato. Thousands and thousands na namatay. We have no active cases against them. Last time I checked, only the Kian de los Santos case and a few others because of the public outcry and all. So in short, our judicial system failed big time. And this is where my proposal is very simple. BBM should push for the Congress, whether the outgoing Congress or the 20th Congress, dapat nasa zona niyan, to rejoin the International Criminal Court as a responsible country. B, he should push for, as legislation, as a matter of legislation, some sort of a Truth or Justice Commission kung saan, katulad ng Quadcom, pag-usapan talaga natin, ano ba itong mga kaso na sinasabi ng ICC? Ilabas na natin yung mga witnesses ulit. So essentially, Quadcom on steroids. And bring in also compensation issues, reconciliation with some of the police who are not so directly involved, but need some sort of security sector reform. So brother, yun ang proposal ko ngayon. So I hope people see where I'm coming from. There's a very, very strong legal argument in favor of some decisive move. And I hope in the coming days with Ruben Carranza and other experts will talk about transitional justice. So malaking issue yan. I want to ask you, brother, do you think we have done enough to make the victim's voice, direct voice, to be heard? Not what Patricia Evangelista wrote or some of the great writers wrote, but what their own voice, yung totoong boses nila mismo. Parang hindi bro kulang talaga eh.
Yeah. Well, alam mo, for me, the Quadcom did an excellent job in terms of being able to bring voices to and faces to the victims. That was really, really well done. Pero like you said, kulang pa nga. And as a matter of fact, I'm hoping that on social media, maybe somebody, maybe I will do it or you should do it, na parang, can we please post all the names of the victims here on this thread para lang maalala ng mga tao na ito ang mga pinaglalaban natin. Kasi ang nakaka-frustrate talaga pag nakita mo yung mga post ng mga Duterte supporters is nakakalimutan nila yung mga biktima, yung mga inosente. At palagi nila sinasabi na ano gusto nyo, mapatay ka, sino mapatay? Yung kamag-anak mo ba o yung drug addict? Hindi nga lahat drug addict, yun nga ang problema natin. Alam mo, kung lahat lang yan
bro,
drug
it's
addict,
okay to just kill people because they're drug addict? I mean, what kind of system is that? What are we, like?
exactly, yun na nga, mawala na tayo. Basically, they want the law of, they want lawlessness. That's what they want. And kung gusto nga nila ng death penalty, di magkaroon tayo ng death penalty, pero kailangan pa rin ng due process. Bottom line, that's it. That's all we're saying. As a matter of fact, ano, the daughter nga of Duterte, Kitty Duterte, has now come out na talagang drug addict pala din tong anak niya eh. So, pwede bang patayin na rin siya? Yung ba gusto nila? O, then, ito na naman tayo sa selective justice nila. Ah, hindi pwede. Anak niya ni Duterte. Silent na naman sila dito. Pero everyone else dapat patayin. Ano na yan? Si Baste, di ba? I mean, Baste there's videos of Baste before na he was so high on whatever na lumalabas dyan. And at the end of the day, mismo yung mga Duterte are hypocrites because of the fact that yung pamilya nila are also doing drugs. Duterte himself is on fentanyl. Oh, and fentanyl is a banned substance nga, di ba? Right now in the States, galit na galit kasi Trump dun, di ba? So, all this hypocrisy is just ibang level to nakikita ko right now. That's why the ICC is needed at the end of the day. I like what we just heard from the recording because pag tinignan mo yan, the reality is this: willing and able our judicial system. They're not willing, they're not able, and even if a case was filed, chances are because of how broken the system is, you're not gonna get a conviction. No way. May nakita ka na bang nakulong talaga dito na politika? Ha? Meron akong nakita
Meron tapos
nangyari na
binalik ulit.
pardon.
Meron tapos na pardon ulit, tumakbo pang presidente, munting nanalo ng 2010. I think
Oh,
people,
'di ba?
it was number 2 after Aquino in 2010 elections, Erap Estrada. He became president almost. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
kind of broken system we have.
Look at how many times we know for a fact na talagang may mga corruption na nangyari dito here and there, and yet they're still walking away, like free people, and not just that, they get elected again. Oh, may ilan nga dyan, di ba, nasa Senado ngayon, may iba pa naman siguro sa Kongreso ngayon. It's just we do need the help, unfortunately, and that's the bottom line. Kaya nga, the ICC is the best way for justice for the victims and also for Duterte. Both are given a fair chance to say their case, to defend their case, and for us to find out sino ba talaga nagsasabi ng totoo dito at sino ba talaga ang guilty, at dito natin makikita yon.